We have reached a critical juncture where a serious conversation about Leny Yoro is absolutely necessary. The reality is that as a collective fan base, we often become the worst enemies of our own promising young talents. We have a deeply ingrained habit of placing them on an impossibly high pedestal, showering them with excessive praise during periods of good form, only to ruthlessly tear them down at the first sign of struggle. The moment a young player has one or two underwhelming performances, the narrative immediately shifts to declarations that they will never be good enough. We are discussing a 20-year-old operating within a profoundly unstable environment, who delivered nearly 20 impressive performances last season. Yet after a couple of difficult games, sections of the fan base are ready to dismiss him entirely. The rhetoric surrounding Leny Yoro following his most recent outing is, frankly, unbelievable, and it is visibly affecting the young man. He was utterly devastated after the match. Even in victory, his disappointment was palpable, requiring consolation from a senior teammate like Mason Mount. The vitriol being spewed online about him is an absolute disgrace, and it underscores a much larger problem with our collective patience and perspective. To truly understand Leny Yoro's current predicament, we must rewind and examine his journey. He arrived at Manchester United as an 18-year-old, a specific signing by Erik ten Hag, intended to feature in a back four defensive system. The irony is stark. Leny Yoro never actually played a single competitive minute under the manager who brought him to the club. His intended role in a back four was scrapped, barring a promising pre-season friendly against Rangers that was unfortunately cut short by a significant injury. So picture the scenario. An 18-year-old adapting to a new country, a new league, under a manager he never got to play for, immediately sidelined for months with an injury. He missed the crucial pre-season integration, the tactical training sessions, the gradual acclimatization process. When he finally returned, he was thrust into a completely different tactical setup under a new manager, playing as a wide centre-back in a back five, a role entirely foreign to him. His initial cameos in this unfamiliar system showed flashes of his immense potential. There was a crucial tackle against Darwin Núñez in the match versus Liverpool, and another disciplined performance against Arsenal. These were promising glimpses, but they were just that, glimpses from a player being carefully reintegrated after a long layoff. Then came a particularly difficult game against Southampton, where he was consistently challenged by William Salmana. It was a poor performance, there's no sugarcoating it. But the reaction was utterly disproportionate. The digital space exploded with viral tweets declaring Leny Yoro a lost cause. That he would never make it at Manchester United. This was after his third or fourth appearance in the shirt. The narrative was set in stone for many. He was not and would never be good enough. Then something remarkable happened in the second half of last season. For a sustained period of 3 to 4 months, Leny Yoro was not just good. He was arguably Manchester United's most consistent and reliable centre-back. He strung together a sequence of 15 to 16 brilliant, composed performances. During this spell, he outperformed both Raphael Varane and Harry Maguire, with Lisandro Martinez sidelined through injury. His absence was genuinely felt. We were all hoping and praying he would be fit for the Europa League final. He embarked on a phenomenal run of form that showcased the elite-level talent the club had invested in. It was a stretch of games that should have cemented his status as a future cornerstone of the defence. This early season, he began reasonably well before an indifferent performance in the Manchester City game. Since then, his involvement has been sporadic, in and out of the team, never quite able to build the consistent run of games necessary to build rhythm and confidence. A poor outing for France was followed by another difficult game for United. 2 poor performances in a row, and the same toxic cycle has begun anew. The same voices are re-emerging, claiming he is not Manchester United quality, that the club should consider selling him, labelling him another overhyped prospect. He has just turned 20 years old. He has navigated injuries, managerial changes, and systemic shifts. He is a centre-back, a position where players historically do not peak until their mid-20s. Consider the trajectory of William Saliba, who was loaned out multiple times because he wasn't deemed ready for Arsenal at 20. Look at Saliba now. We would all be ecstatic to have a defender of his calibre. Look at Gabriel Magalhaes at 20. Consider where Virgil van Dijk was at 20. Writing off a centre-back at this age is a fundamental misreading of player development. The case of Adam Wharton at Crystal Palace is a perfect parallel and a lesson in patience. Wharton burst onto the scene with a phenomenal 6 months, earning an England call-up without ever having played in the Premier League. The hype was justified and immense. The following year, what happened? He encountered some injury issues. His minutes became inconsistent, and he dipped in form. This time last year, Adam Wharton's stock had cooled considerably. Did anyone declare him a finished product or a crap player? No. Because the environment at Crystal Palace allows for these natural ebbs and flows in a young player's development. When Palace found their rhythm again in the second half of the season, starting around February, Wharton rediscovered his fantastic form. Now, look at the universal praise he receives. If Leny Yoro were at a club like Crystal Palace, he would be allowed the space to have 2 or 3 poor games without it becoming a global talking point. Most fans would not even be aware of the minor struggles Adam Wharton experienced, because that club understands the concept of development time. Leny Yoro is entitled to have these difficult periods. He is not playing for a dominant league-leading side at 26 years of age. He is playing for a deeply inconsistent team within a very specific system. Being asked to execute a complex role, all at the age of 20, while managing injury setbacks. With only 1 game per week, building positive momentum is significantly harder. Performing at a high level for Manchester United carries a unique, immense pressure that is incomparable to almost any other club in the world. How many players have arrived at Old Trafford at 25 or 26 and failed to make the grade? How many have been fantastic at other clubs only to struggle under the weight of expectation at United? If you are genuinely writing off Leny Yoro because of 2 consecutive bad games after witnessing his extended period of excellence last season and his clear talent, then your perspective is fundamentally flawed. Analysing his most recent performance with nuance is crucial. Until the penalty incident, Leny Yoro was actually having a reasonably solid game. He made a potentially goal-saving block that many are conveniently forgetting. He slipped. It was a clumsy, unfortunate error that resulted in a penalty. It happens. After that moment, his confidence visibly shattered. He had a poor 10-minute spell and was rightly substituted. He did not have a good game, but to label it an unmitigated disaster is an overreaction. We conceded 1 goal and we won the match. Mistakes are part of football. Virgil van Dijk has made several uncharacteristic errors this season. Saliba makes the occasional mistake. It is an inevitable part of the sport, and it is amplified 1,000-fold for a 20-year-old in a fragile mental state. In conclusion, the lies and damaging narratives swirling around Leny Yoro are not just unfair, they are counterproductive. While it may only be a vocal, reactionary minority driving this negativity, if you genuinely believe he is a bad player based on a tiny sample of poor form, after the overwhelming evidence of his high ceiling provided last season, you are simply wrong. I firmly believe Leny Yoro is a £100 million talent in the making. He has the potential to reach the levels of a Virgil van Dijk in the future. He is among the top 10 young talents in world football, and he is capable of having an outstanding career. The same patience should be extended to other young signings like Kobbie Mainoo, who has barely featured. The current environment may not be ideal for youth development, but that does not diminish their inherent quality and future potential. Writing off any player at 20 years of age is a fool's errand. At 25 or 26, the conversation changes, but never at 20. History is littered with players who were written off at United only to thrive elsewhere. We have already seen enough from Leny Yoro in a Manchester United shirt to know that his story is far from over.